Hey, real quick, imagine you're the first person in 2,000 years to read a message that no one was ever supposed to see. A message sealed by fire. A message buried in the ruins of a vanished city. You're not a scientist. You're not a historian. You're just you, sitting here watching this. But guess what? You're now part of the story. Just recently, a scroll was finally read. Not by human hands, not by ancient monks, but by artificial intelligence, a machine. And what it found? It wasn't history. It was something else. It whispered of destruction, of silence, of fire, and maybe, just maybe, of a warning we were never supposed to hear. So buckle in, because today we're diving into the dead scripts that AI is bringing back to life. And what they're saying might change everything. Welcome to New Paradigm, the hidden languages of the Earth. Let's start here. All across the planet, people have found strange markings, real writing, symbols carved into bone, stone, wood, clay, thousands of years old. Some even etched into gold or woven into fabric. These are the world's lost scripts. But they're not lost like we forgot them. We know they exist. We just can't read them. Take the Indus script. Over 4,500 years old, found in Pakistan and northwest India. We don't know what a single symbol means. There's no Rosetta Stone, no key. It's like someone wrote a code, destroyed the decoder, and then disappeared. Or Rongo Rongo from Easter Island. Carved wooden tablets. The writing goes left to right, then flips, right to left, line after line. People think it recorded scripture, maybe warnings. But when colonizers came, that culture collapsed. Today, nobody can read it. And then there's Etruscan from ancient Italy. We have thousands of inscriptions, names, religious texts. We can read the letters out loud, but we don't know what they mean. It's a language that doesn't connect to any other. Why is this stuff so hard to crack? It's not just age, it's that to understand a lost language, you need three things: lots of examples, context from the culture, and ideally a translation key like the Rosetta Stone. Most of these scripts have none of that. How AI learned to read the dead. And that's where AI comes in. See, AI doesn't read like we do. It doesn't care about stories or grammar. It looks for patterns, repetition, frequency, shape, location. One system, called neural network modeling, works like a baby learning a language. It studies thousands of images and strings of symbols until it recognizes what comes next. Another method, pattern recognition, teaches the machine to spot repeated shapes, like fake punctuation or secret verbs. And then there's linguistic modeling. This doesn't need to know what words mean. It tracks how often they appear, where they show up, and in what order. And suddenly, these ancient scripts, they start to talk. The Vesuvius scroll and the $1 million race. Let's jump to 79 AD. Mount Vesuvius erupts. Boom. Pompeii is buried in ash. But Herculaneum nearby is hit even harder. Scorching waves of gas and rock. It's so hot, over 500 degrees Celsius, that it carbonizes everything, even paper. But this disaster preserved something incredible. A library. Inside the villa of the papyri, a wealthy Roman's private home, possibly Caesar's father-in-law. Hundreds of scrolls turned into black cylinders. Too fragile to touch, too dark to read. That is, until recently when a group of researchers and tech leaders, including former GitHub CEO Nat Friedman and computer scientist Brent Seals, launched the Vesuvius Challenge. The goal? Use AI and 3D micro-CT scanning to read a scroll without opening it. The prize? Over $1 million in rewards. And then came the breakthrough. A college student, yes, a student, named Luke Ferrator, read the first word in nearly 2,000 years. Porphyres, Greek for purple, the color of royalty, power, mystery. That word alone earned him $50,000. He was soon joined by Yusef Nader and Julian Schilliger. They'd pulled over 2,000 letters from the scroll, enough to identify full phrases, enough to recognize the author, Philodemus. What the scroll revealed. Philodemus wasn't just some random philosopher. He followed Epicurean beliefs. They rejected fear-based religion. They said the gods don't interfere. They hated blind obedience to rulers. And in this scroll, there were phrases: strategic quietude, cycle of smoke and renewal, when the light goes out and the cleansing begins. Is this metaphor or prophecy? The scroll talked about fire, about silence, about elites preparing for something coming. Remember, Philodemus wrote this before the volcano erupted. Was he predicting something? Or was he just using symbols? Even scholars aren't sure. Some say it's just ancient poetry. Others are starting to wonder. Machines that see the invisible. Let's go deeper into the tech. One system, ProtoSnap, is helping researchers decode cuneiform, that wedge-shaped writing used by Sumerians. It links all the messy versions of a symbol into one neat unit, like showing a kid the letter A in print, cursive, and bubble letters. Then there's HieroLM, used for Egyptian hieroglyphs. Each symbol might be a sound, a word, or a whole concept. HieroLM uses AI logic, kind of like Google Translate, for ancient pictures. It guesses missing pieces. Sometimes it's wrong, but often it's close enough to give us meaning. Another tool works on palimpsests, manuscripts where old writing was scraped off and replaced. Some of these were erased on purpose. Dangerous ideas, forbidden thoughts, hidden science. Now, AI uses reflectance transformation imaging in GANs, two networks battling it out to reconstruct erased words. In 2021, researchers even found unknown math work by Archimedes, hidden under a 13th century prayer book. The oracle bones in the Mayan glyphs. Let's zoom out again to ancient China. The oracle bones from the Shang dynasty around 1300 BCE. Priests carved questions into turtle shells. Will there be plague? Will the stars be clear? Will the gods accept our sacrifice? In 2025, Chinese researchers used AI to decode the bone script, hundreds of thousands of glyphs. And what they found? Patterns, warnings, timings of rituals, requests to control the future. Now to the Maya. Their glyphs are wild. Loops, animals, full pictures. AI trained on these shapes can now decode what once took humans years, in hours. What it found were stories of sacrifice, betrayal, drought, repeated mentions of a time called the Great Thirsting, a massive drought that helped cause their collapse. But were they just recording weather? Or trying to stop something they didn't understand? Nüshu, the language of the hidden daughters? And now something beautiful and tragic. In the hills of Hunan, China, women weren't allowed to read or write. So they made their own script. Nüshu, passed in songs, letters, and embroidery, only from woman to woman. It looks soft, like slanted ribbons. In 2025, a team at Dartmouth College trained AI on just 35 sample texts. It reached almost 50% accuracy. What did it reveal? Not light poetry, but pain. Silent suffering. Unseen daughters. One line said, "A coming sorrow woven into the moonlight." Were these symbols of grief or warnings? Patterns, secrets, and the scripts that disappeared. Here's the crazy part. These civilizations, China, the Maya, the Etruscans, The islanders of Rongorongo never met. They didn't trade. They didn't write in the same style. And yet, the themes repeat: collapse, silence, fire, suppression, hidden knowledge, warnings. What if they weren't lost naturally? What if they were buried? Some languages like Latin or Chinese evolved, but others vanished fast, sometimes overnight. Rongorongo vanished after colonizers arrived. The culture collapsed. Some believe it warned of ecological disaster. Etruscan was replaced by Latin, but some rituals were banned. Too dark, too powerful. Rome erased them. The Voynich manuscript? Found in an Italian monastery, still undecoded. Some think it's a hoax. But AI found Hebrew-like phrases, possibly a secret midwife guide, hidden from men, protected from the church. Are we ready for what comes next? Let's end with a thought. Artificial intelligence doesn't fear anything. It doesn't understand myths. It doesn't pause when it finds something dangerous. It just keeps going. So when a machine uncovers a message that was hidden for a reason, do we listen or do we close the book? Because one day, one of these scripts might say something we're not ready to hear. And once it's read, it can't be unread. What do you think these ancient messages were trying to say? Were they just old stories or real warnings we were never supposed to hear? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And that's it for today. If this blew your mind even a little, hit that like button and subscribe to New Paradigm. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss what the machines are uncovering next. Catch you in the next one.